be some kind of optical illusion. That's no illusion, Toto!
In the movie Legends of Oz, Dorothy's Return, Glee's Lea Michele plays Dorothy, who returns to Oz to stop the Wicked Witch's evil brother, the Jester, voiced by Martin Short. At the red carpet premiere, the stars talked about bringing Dorothy's new adventure to the big screen.
Aren't I quivering?
Its story is in the tradition of what Baum had written, and it is a relative who wrote it. And I think that it's really well crafted.
Story. So to now have this film and bring it to this generation, a story that's filled with such love and about family and friendship, and what a great message for kids, and the songs are so beautiful.
They worked really hard on this movie for a long time, and they pieced together one of the great animation movies of all time.
Welcome back to Arise on Screen. Joining me in the studio is Chiara Spagnoli Gabardi and Julian Roman, two film critics that I enjoy having here. Now, I have to say, Jim Belushi called this one of the greatest animated films of all time. I'm sorry, it was not. This is the 7th adaptation of an Oz book. And while the animation is beautiful, it lacks imagination. The story is interesting, again, but lacks animation. I found the whole film to be more or less flat. But you, Julian, I think you hated it a lot more than I did.
I did. I thought it was really boring, uninspiring. I mean, with Oz, you want something magical. And the thing that really bothered me was the music. I mean, the songs are really quite terrible, to be honest with you. They're not catchy, they're not interesting. And when you think of Oz, you think of all these great songs. So that was a big letdown. But I definitely did not like this film.
Now, you, Chiara, you thought you liked it more than Julian, clearly. I didn't think the songs were so bad.
No.
But they were uneven. Some were okay, some were lame.
Well, it's nothing compared to the great classic. The entire story is probably not one of the worst adaptations of the books. We had great adaptations on stage with the musicals. This was a very cute animation story, and we see a more emancipated Dorothy Gale. She's more contemporary, but yes, it wasn't an amazing film.
Well, what's interesting, this is not one of the original books. This is actually written by his great-grandson, and it's true to the theme and the storylines and everything, but what I really found most disappointing is the bar has been raised by Pixar and Disney, and especially with what we just saw in Frozen and that very, very famous song that I don't even have to name. There's a lot of imagination to what happens in the animation when the songs happen. None of that is here. And the character designs are so uninteresting, especially the human characters. And now you thought that it was, the character designs didn't bother you, Julian, but you thought the film overall was just too lame to even for words.
Yeah, I mean, the film overall is very, very poor. I think if you're like a really young child, the 3D might grab you, but you know, older viewers are not going to be captured. Like I said, it's not magical. And the worst part about it is, you know, you're comparing it to greatness, right? And then you're coming on the verge of Frozen and then Rio 2. So to have a really poor soundtrack and poor songs, you're really swinging and missing on this one, unfortunately.
Well, you said magical. Nothing's even as magical as Chiara's shoes here in
I'm
that
going
movie.
home
You're
with
going,
these
are you going to
shoes.
click after the show? Well, here's the thing I also felt, and you tell me if you agree, Chiara, I thought that you've got a lot to live up to.
Yes.
You know, and I thought that the actors, especially Martin Short, he was as unfunny as he could possibly be as the Jester.
I totally agree.
And it was, everybody seemed forced and strained. There were no imagination to the voices.
But Lea
It just didn't work.
Michele did a good job. And Bernadette
Her singing was great.
Peters.
Bernadette Peters
So
is probably the best thing in there because she's got so much
I actually hope to hear her
character.
sing more. We didn't hear her that much. But,
No, but she's got a lot of character to her voice.
She does.
And her
Very
voice
nasal,
characterization
yes.
was more interesting than anything else in the film.
Probably.
So I guess we won't be returning to Oz with Dorothy again. Yeah. Our next film is a movie called Neighbors. It's a dark comedy about new parents played by Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne who have the misfortune of having a frat house move in next door. It also stars Zac Efron as a frat boy neighbor. At the Los Angeles red carpet premiere, Zac and Seth spoke about what it was like to work together.
I mean, we got along really well in real life, and I think actually once we started kind of reading, we did a table read and we rehearsed a bit, and we actually beefed up the fact that we like each other a little bit in the movie.
It was fun, man. Seth, I've always wanted to work with Seth and see how he works, what is it that makes him so consistently funny. And I was able to watch and see that a lot of it has to do with just heart. You know, it's hard. Like, everything's honest. Everything is really, you know, it comes from an honest place.
Just stop doing this stupid stuff.
Why are you dressing up like Robert De Niro?
Are you talking to me?
I get what you're doing.
I'm watching you. I'm watching you, fucker.
If you want some, come get some. Oh!
Sorry my ball just got in your face.
I'm pissed off. They underestimated us. I don't want to take the gloves off, but I'm going to take them off.
You have no idea what you started.
Welcome to the darkness, bitches.
A frat broke into the car and stole all the airbags.
So weird.
Why would they just break in and steal the airbags?
I don't
It
know. We
doesn't...
should follow police. Delta Psi has the upper hand.
Now, clearly there's a bromance going on there with these two. Now, I'll ask you, Chiara, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was funny. I think Zac Efron is somewhat an underrated actor. I think he's actually done some pretty good dramatic roles, and he was pretty funny here. And you really do get a sense that they enjoyed working. Did you like him in this?
Yes, I agree. I'm not a fan of his as a groupie, but I find he's a very talented actor, and I like how self-ironic he's becoming more and more in his films. And yes, there's this new phenomena of the bromance in movies. We've seen that also in This Is the End with Seth Rogen, and the entertainment was pretty amusing. A little bit too much of the genitalia jokes, but it was fun.
Do you mean penis?
Yes, penis.
Okay. Now, what about you, Julian? You like this? You said it was funny. You would recommend it.
It's very funny. I mean, if you want to see a film that makes you laugh, it totally ticks that box. But basically, you can tell a lot of it is improv. So it comes off as being a collection of skits, but it's a collection of funny skits. So it works. I mean, Efron and Rogen, they've got great chemistry. And I agree with you. You know, Zach's one of these guys who does a lot of films that people don't see, his dramatic work. And those films are actually pretty good. And I'm glad they kind of didn't make his character too one note.
Right.
He's actually got a little bit of, you know, depth to him, surprisingly, in this film.
Yes, he does. He's not that bright, but he's not that stupid.
He's not mean either. He's not like a mean guy, as you expect.
No, and I thought actually it was better. But though I have to say, compared to Pineapple Express and This Is the End, this is probably Stoller's weakest film.
I completely agree. It's not in the character of those two movies, not in the same vein, but it is funny. I mean, if you want to see this film, you will laugh. You will get your money's worth.
It's very cathartic. You get released by watching this.
I agree. Well, we will be back.